One bright morning, Peppa Pig woke up in her cozy room with yellow walls and sunny pictures. She slipped on her red dress and skipped downstairs, eager for a new adventure. The sun streamed through the window, warming her soft bed with a flowery blanket. The living room was lively and warm, with a green carpet stretching across the floor in patterns. Mummy Pig, in her blue apron, flipped pancakes in the kitchen, their sweet smell wafting around. Peppa sat at the wooden table, spotting a big book of numbers. Daddy Pig, big and jolly, sat in the corner with his round glasses, sipping tea quietly. He smiled at Peppa and said, "Today we'll learn numbers." Peppa clapped her hands, her pink cheeks shining with excitement. Little George, in his blue shirt, played with his dinosaur on the living room floor noisily. He looked up and roared, his favorite sound, making Peppa giggle. She opened the book to the number 1 with a single candle. Outside, the garden bloomed with colorful flowers, and birds sang in the tall oak tree. Peppa saw one red balloon in the book and said, "1 is for balloon." Mummy Pig nodded, bringing pancakes to the table. Then Peppa turned the page to 2, showing 2 shiny boots in a muddy puddle. George ran over with his toy boots and jumped, shouting, "Gertoo!" Peppa laughed and said, "2 is for boots." Everyone smiled. The day grew brighter, and the family stepped outside to the yard under a wooden canopy. The sun sparkled, and a breeze rustled the leaves around their cozy house. Peppa drew the number 3 with chalk on a board. The book showed 3 yellow ducks swimming, and Peppa pointed at the pond nearby. "3 is for ducks," she said, as real ducks quacked in the distance. George flapped his arms, giggling. Ducks. That evening, they gathered in the living room, where the fireplace glowed and photos hung proudly. Peppa reached with 4 green frogs hopping in the book. 4 is for frogs. She cheered, and George hopped around happily. Outside, stars twinkled above, and the moon lit the garden with a silver glow softly. Peppa turned to 5 and saw 5 bright stars in the picture. "5 is for stars," she said, pointing at the sky. Before bed, Peppa reached 6 with 6 juicy apples in a basket on the page. She found a toy apple in George's box and shouted, "6 is for apples." Mummy Pig smiled at her clever piglet. Peppa snuggled into bed under her starry blanket. The dark room quiet and peaceful. She whispered, "Tomorrow I'll learn more numbers I love counting." The moon glowed, promising another fun day. The next morning, Peppa Pig woke up in her sunny room, the yellow walls bright and cheerful. She pulled on her red dress and dashed downstairs, clutching her number book tightly. George was in the living room, rolling his dinosaur across the green carpet. The kitchen smelled of warm toast, and Mummy Pig, in her blue apron, buttered slices happily. Peppa opened her book to 7 and saw 7 colorful butterflies fluttering in a garden. "7 is for butterflies," she said, and George flapped. Daddy Pig sat at the table, reading his paper, his round glasses shining in the sunlight. He chuckled and said, "Let's count more outside." Peppa grabbed her crayons and skipped to the garden, full of energy. The garden sparkled with dew, bees buzzed around flowers, and the oak tree swayed gently. Peppa turned to 8 and saw 8 round pebbles by a stream in the book. 8 is for pebbles, she shouted, picking up stones nearby. Then the family strolled to the pond, where water sparkled and ducks paddled in lazy circles. Pepa flipped to 9 and found 9 pink flowers blooming in the picture. 9 is 4 flowers, she said, and Mummy Pig sniffed a rose. By noon, the sun shone high, warming the grass and the wooden table in the yard. Pepa reached 10 with 10 bright balloons floating in the sky on the page. 10 is 4 balloons. She cheered, and Daddy Pig clapped loudly. In the afternoon, they sat on their red and blue swing, rocking under the shady oak tree. Pepa drew 11 on her board, then saw 11 aunts marching in the book. 11 is 4 aunts, she said, spotting ants on the ground. As the evening fell, the sky turned orange, and clouds drifted over the hills near their house. Pepa opened 12 and found 12 eggs in a nest in the picture. 12 is 4 eggs, she declared, and George chirped, G-R-R-R eggs. That night, the family cozied up in the living room, the lamp glowing over their happy faces. Pepa reached 13 with 13 stars twinkling in the book's night sky. 13 is 4 stars, she said, and Mummy Pig pointed outside. Pepa climbed into bed, pulling her starry blanket close in the quiet, darkened room. She whispered, I'm counting higher, every day numbers are so fun. The moon shone through the window, lighting her dreams. The following morning, Peppa Pig woke up in her bright room, sunlight dancing on yellow walls. She slipped into her red dress and raced downstairs, her number book in hand. George Pig, her little brother, played with his dinosaur on the green carpet. The kitchen smelled of fresh jam, and Mummy Pig, in her blue apron, spread it on toast. Peppa Pig opened her book 214 and saw 14 bluebirds flying in the picture. 14 is 4 birds, she said, and George Pig chirped, G-R-R-R birds. Daddy Pig, big and cheerful, sat in his armchair, reading with his round glasses on. He said, Let's keep counting outside, Peppa Pig. Peppa Pig grabbed her chalk and skipped to the garden, buzzing with excitement. The garden glowed under the sun, with butterflies fluttering and the oak tree rustling softly. Peppa Pig turned to 15 and saw 15 green leaves falling in the book. 15 is 4 leaves, she shouted, catching a leaf from the tree. Then the family walked to the shed, where old bikes leaned against the wooden walls quietly. Peppa Pig flipped to 16 and found 16 red apples in a tree on the page. 16 is 4 apples, she said, and Mummy Pig smiled warmly. By midday, the sun warmed the yard, casting shadows from the canopy over the wooden table. Peppa Pig reached 17 with 17 white clouds floating in the book's sky. 17 is 4 clouds, she cheered, pointing at the fluffy clouds above. In the afternoon, they rested near the pond, where ripples sparkled and a frog splashed playfully. Peppa Pig opened 18 and saw 18 yellow daisies in the picture. 18 is 4 daisies, she said, and George Pig picked a flower. As dusk settled, the sky turned pink and stars began twinkling over their cozy house. Peppa Pig turned to 19 with 19 black bats flying in the book. 19 is 4 bats, she declared, and George Pig flapped. That night, the family gathered in the living room, the fireplace crackling and photos glowing softly. Peppa Pig reached 20 with 20 bright stars shining in the picture. 20 is 4 stars, she said, and Daddy Pig clapped proudly. Peppa Pig snuggled into bed under a starry blanket, the dark room calm and quiet. She whispered, "I'm counting so high, now numbers are amazing." The moon glowed outside, lighting her happy dreams. The next morning, Peppa Pig woke up in her sunny room, the yellow walls aglow with light. She popped on her red dress and dashed downstairs, clutching her number book eagerly. George Pig, her little brother, rolled his dinosaur across the green carpet. The kitchen smelled of warm muffins, and Mummy Pig, in her blue apron, pulled them from the oven. Peppa Pig opened a book, 221, and saw 21 red ladybugs crawling in the picture. 21 is 4 ladybugs, she said, and George Pig buzzed. Grrr buzz. Daddy Pig, big and kind, sat at the table with his round glasses, sipping tea slowly. He grinned and said, "Let's finish counting today, Peppa Pig." Peppa Pig nodded and skipped outside to the garden, bursting with excitement. The garden shimmered in the sun, with bees humming and the oak trees swaying in the breeze. Peppa Pig turned to 22 and saw 22 blue waves crashing in the book. 22 is for waves, she shouted, pretending to splash. Then the family strolled to the porch, where a rocking chair creaked and flowers lined the steps. Peppa Pig flipped to 23 and found 23 orange carrots in the picture. 23 is 4 carrots, she said, and Mummy Pig fetched a carrot snack. By noon, the sun blazed over the yard, warming the wooden table under the shady canopy. Peppa Pig reached 24 with 24 yellow bees buzzing in the book. 24 is 4 bees, she cheered, and Daddy Pig hummed like a bee. In the afternoon, they sat by the pond, where ducks floated and lily pads bobbed gently. Peppa Pig opened 25 and saw 25 green turtles in the picture. 25 is 4 turtles, she said, and George Pig crawled. Grrr. As evening painted the sky gold, stars sparkled faintly above their house with its red roof. Peppa Pig turned 26 with 26 purple grapes in the book. 26 is 4 grapes, she declared, and George Pig munched an imaginary bunch. That night, the family gathered in the living room, the lamp glowing over their cozy space. Peppa Pig reached 27 with 27 white snowflakes falling in the picture. 27 is 4 snowflakes, she said, and Mummy Pig clapped warmly. Peppa Pig climbed into bed, snuggling under her starry blanket in the quiet, dark room. She whispered, "I've counted so high love numbers so much." The moon shone brightly, celebrating her big adventure.